The weekend of cobbled madness begins. Back-to-back racing that leads us up to the Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix. And the rivalry, it's real. Mathieu van der Poel versus Wout van Aert. We're going to preview the E3 Saxo Classic and Gent-Wevelgem, the favorites, what you can expect from those Belgian races, and what we can take away from those races before the big ones ahead. Flanders the following weekend, and the Sunday after, Paris-Roubaix. The first thing you should note is there's no Tadej. The multi-talented Tadej Pogacar, Team UAE Emirates, came, saw, and conquered. Last year, after falling short in 2022, he won the Tour of Flanders. Now, with the goal of the Giro d'Italia and the Tour de France, he clearly needs to cut the cobbles from his schedule. But don't you worry, you can still catch him bashing the competition in the Volta a Catalunya. In E3 last year, Pogacar formed the star attacking trio with Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel. Van Aert took home the win, but Pogacar the confidence needed to destroy Flanders the week after with a long-range attack from the Old Quaremont. Remember, this is cycling. The stars, unfortunately, are not racing, not lining up in every race. So if we look at last year's Gent-Wevelgem, we didn't have Pogacar and Van der Poel, but we had Van Aert smashing it on the Kemmelberg and helping his teammate Christophe Laporte to his biggest race win. The courses, let's get into those because we have some hard ones ahead Friday and on Sunday. The E3 and Gent-Wevelgem are pretty classic courses, both tough in different ways. The E3, 207 kilometers, starts and finishes in Harelbeke and essentially is a mini Tour of Flanders with several of the same famous climbs but in a different order. The Tyenberg, after approximately 125 kilometers, it usually initiates the selection. In the years of Tom Boonen, the Belgian consistently launched his first attack here on the cobbled climb. The Paterberg comes before the Quaremont and after more than 160 kilometers of racing, both cobbled climbs. Then we have the paved climbs, the Karn-Melk-Bekstraat, and at 20 kilometers to race, the Teigenberg. The 2024 Gent-Wevelgem again heads to the coast and always faces a threat of crosswinds and climbs the classic Kemmelberg. It's going to be a whopping 253 kilometers long, a proper classic distance. Due to its climbs, the Bengberg and the Kemmelberg coming pretty far out, 35 kilometers to go, however, we usually see a regrouping and a reduced field sprint here in the race. So many of the hard men will opt out of Gent-Wevelgem with eyes further ahead on Flanders and Roubaix. Van der Poel, Van Aert, and everyone else. Let's look at the favorites because I think they're quite clear. It's Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel. This is the big, long-time rivalry and first duel that we're going to see between those two for 2024, and they will headline and face off in E3. Van der Poel comes from his season debut a week ago in Milan-Sanremo, where as defending champion and favorite, he helped his teammate, Belgian Jasper Philipsen, win against Tadej Pogacar. After a helping hand in Italy, we can be sure he'll be out for blood to win his first race as world champion in those rainbow stripes. And Wout van Aert, well, is returning from altitude on the Spanish island of Tenerife off the west coast of Africa. And everything about his planning and preparation for 2024 has been about adding the Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix to his resume. He said in an interview, "I've worked hard for this because I want to win those races. I've already shown in the past that one-day races and cobblestones are my specialties. It's a huge goal to add these races to my list of achievements." The Belgian began his 2024 season a month ago before heading off to altitude train in Tenerife. He helped Visma team dominate the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, leading to Jan Tratnik winning. The next day, well, he took the win for himself and Kuhne, Brussels Kuhne. Riding alongside Van Aert will be American Matteo Jorgensen with all sorts of motivation fresh off his stage race win in Paris-Nice. Like in Omloop, we saw that anything is possible when riding in a super team for the 24-year-old from Idaho. Jorgensen said of joining Visma after his first 4 years in Movistar, everything has changed. Every detail. It's hard to say one thing. Everything's changed. Visma also includes super helpers Tish Benoot and Dylan Van Barle. UAE Team Emirates will be without Tadej Pogacar, but will back Mark Hirschi and Tim Wellens. After a show of force in Milano-Sanremo, Lidl Trek is back with Mads Pedersen and his Belgian teammate Jasper Stuyven. And look out for the riders like Arnaud Delis of Team Lotto Destiny, Michael Matthews of Team Jayco Alula, second in Milano-Sanremo, and Matej Mohoric of Team Bahrain Victorious. Wout van Aert summed it up. In E3 Saxo Bank Classic, it will be immediately clear what the values are. After the Tour of Flanders, the E3 is the toughest Flemish race we have. It is a very difficult final, which often starts from afar. Because the course is so tough and so close to Flanders, it's always a good test. Gent-Wevelgem sees a change in the cast. In Ypres on Sunday morning, 2 days later, we won't have the Wout van Aert and the classic duel with Mathieu van der Poel. With the chances of a sprint, Van der Poel will be likely working in support of his Belgian teammate and Milano-Sanremo winner Jasper Philipsen. Team Visma without Van Aert and without riders like Jorgensen changes gears to a team around Olaf Koy and 2023 winner Christophe Laporte. Arnaud Delis, Team Lotto Destiny, will be the big favorite as it's more a sprinter's race. As to the Jayco team with Michael Matthews and Dylan Groenewegen. And Tim Merlier will be hoping to give Soudal Quickstep a needed classics win. Besides Alpecin, Lidl Trek should be one of the super teams to watch in Gent-Wevelgem because it's not only Mads Pedersen, the Dane, and Stuyven, but Jonathan Milan, the Italian, that offers a team a strong sprint punch. The races are live on FloBikes. The E3 Saxo Classic on Friday is available for our viewers in Canada, and Gent-Wevelgem on Sunday for our viewers in Canada, the United States, and Australia. Subscribe by clicking the button down below if you'd like to see much more of our classics coverage here on YouTube. And comment, tell me, who do you think will be the favorite for these races ahead? The weather forecast for E3 Saxo Classic and Gent-Wevelgem looks miserable. Well, great if you're looking for some proper hardman classics racing. Friday through Sunday, rain is on the forecast. The temperature range, it's pretty low, from 8 to 12 degrees Celsius or 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds pick up on Sunday, coming from the west off the North Sea at 21 kilometers an hour or 15 miles per hour. The weather, the competition, and races, 200 kilometers on Friday, 250 on Sunday, creates a perfect stage for the monuments ahead. The Tour of Flanders on March 31st, Paris-Roubaix on April 7th. You gotta tune in because it's going to be a thrilling run, starting with E3 and Gent-Wevelgem.